Today, we're going to talk about how to close more deals for your business by addressing pain points and noticing patterns. To kick this off, I just want to start by saying uh, sales is something that so many people are afraid of. But at the end of the day, really what we're doing is we're helping somebody see that the pain of staying exactly where they are is more painful than the change that they're about to make. And by stepping into their transformation specifically with you. And we're going to highlight ways that you can start to do that more so in your business. That's going to help you serve more people at a higher level. Because if you're getting someone onto a call and they're an excellent fit for your program, but you're not able to help show them that the pattern that is keeping them stuck is the pattern that you're going to help them break out of, then you're not going to be able to move them forward. And the truth is, on these sales calls, we're working with people who have had such ingrained patterns in them since childhood. And so when someone says yes to breaking that pattern, you got to understand what a huge step forward and a huge shift is in that reality. But it's so painful sometimes for us as coaches when we can't get someone to see that and we can't help them break out of that pattern because we know that that pattern is keeping them stuck. So we're going to address ways to do that today. But some of you already know a little bit of this story, but I'm going to connect it deep into what we're talking about today. So a couple weeks back, Steve and I were on a camping trip, and we were so excited because we're going to the edge of the world. It's gonna be the most epic views, the coolest campsite we've ever been to. And oh my gosh, I ended up getting so freaking sick. By day 2, my mouth was in excruciating pain. I mean, I'm talking just ultra swollen, woke me up in the middle of the night crying, like excruciating pain. Like I would compare it to freaking childbirth because it was just that big of a nightmare. My face is swollen, and I knew straight away it was my wisdom teeth. Like, yep, I know that it's my wisdom teeth because I had got a little tiny bit of an infection in there a couple different times, and I could tell that it was that, but just way worse than anything that I had ever experienced before. And I remembered back to about 8 years ago. I had gone to an orthodontist and they took x-rays of my mouth and they said, "Hey, Jamie, you're going to want to get your wisdom teeth out. It's more preventative. We just don't want anything to happen in the future that's just going to cause like headaches and uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable and it could cause infections. And we just really want to be preventative. So we think that you should get them all out." And I was like, that's not going to be me. I'm going to be one of the 15% of people that doesn't have to get my wisdom teeth out. And I was like, okay, this guy basically just wants my money. Like, this is stupid. I'm not getting my wisdom teeth out. It's not going to cause problems. No. Even though 85% of people need to get their wisdom teeth out, it's not going to be me. Well, here we are, 8 years later, and I'm like, fuck, he was right. Damn it. He actually knew what he was talking about. Weird. And so what's interesting is for 8 years, it stayed dormant, right? Every now and again, it would flare up and get a little bit of an infection, which is gross. Okay, guys, I get it. Like, that's gross. Okay, you can judge me all you want. I know. So, and it would flare up, but then I would just gargle some salt water and it would just go away. And so I just basically kept numbing or trying to mask the real problem by solving the symptoms of that problem, right? But what I never did in the past 8 years was actually address and fix the root cause of that problem, which was getting them removed, right? And so what's happening when you're on these sales calls is your people have had the symptoms of a problem for years, months, decades, it doesn't matter. So what's happening is they're gargling that salt water. And then what's happening is the symptoms of that problem are kind of going away. It doesn't matter if it's a relationship, their business, their personal life, their health, their fitness, whatever. They're numbing the thing that's causing the problem. Okay? Or they're masking it, they're quick fixing it, they're throwing a band-aid on it, but what they really need is to actually get stitches and to heal this thing. Right? They need to fix the underlying issue. Okay? So what was really interesting is I started to realize once this pain got so excruciating and started to affect my quality of life, guys, it started to spread to the rest of my body. And the crazy thing about wisdom teeth is when they start to get infected, the infection can spread to your brain and it can spread to your heart within days. Okay, so when I started to get so sick, I was in bed with a fever and just feeling like absolute shit. I was like, this is getting really scary, actually. In like the 1900s, early 1900s, dental infections were actually one of the I think it was like the number 3 causes of death. pretty insane. It was like high up. Okay. That statistic might not be 100% correct, but it was high up on the list of deaths in the world, right? Before we had like modern medicine and could prevent infections and stuff. So I started to get really freaked out, and I started to call people and try to make an appointment like a mad woman, getting in somewhere like, I need to get this fixed. I need to get this tooth out. And so I started spending, once I felt a little bit better, the only thing I was doing was calling dental offices to try to get seen. And no one was able to see me right away. It was the most annoying, frustrating experience. But you see what happened is for 8 years, I was like, oh no, it's going to be okay. I don't need to fix it now. Da da da. And then all of a sudden, in the matter of days, it went to like I have to get this fixed. You have to get me in. This is a dental emergency. Please help me. What changed? There's only one thing that changed, was my level of pain and my knowingness that I had to fix the root problem because it's gotten bad enough. But then something interesting happened. My infection, because I was on antibiotics, started to dissipate. It started to get better. And so now the pain became less and less and less. And then I was like, you know what? I can handle it that time. Interesting. This was my natural pattern kicking back in. It was like, oh, I was able to overcome that time. Maybe we don't need to get him out. Can you believe that? I just went through all that pain for a whole entire week. And I was like, you know what, Jamie? It's fine. You just handle that like a champ. You can do that again. We don't need to get him out, because I don't want to go to get him out because I know it's going to be really painful and I don't want to recover from that. And I'm scared. Okay, I'll be honest with you. So then my pattern starts to kick in. You're going to be fine. You don't need to get them out. That's what's happening to your ideal clients when you're on the phone with them. And we start to get out of pain and we just start talking about our coaching program. Now they're like, well, actually right now I feel fine. This conversation helped. I just spent an hour. I feel clarity on what I need to do next. Thank you. I feel better. Problem solved. It's like they just took antibiotics and their tooth started to feel better. But what didn't change? The fact that you didn't fix the root problem of what's causing the symptoms. So you, on your sales call, this is the part that blows my mind. On the sales call, you made the symptoms feel better because they were able to talk it out for maybe the first time in their whole life. And they were able to figure out, what's the root cause of my problem? That's the whole purpose of the call. What's the root cause? What do they want? And how are they going to get there? Now you just gave them all of that. So like, shit, that was amazing. I know what to do now. So what do you need to do to save these deals? Because here's what's going to happen. You got to understand this. If we let them get off the call at that point because they think that this is just going to solve everything, the reality of it is it isn't, because that root problem is still going to resurface. They haven't known how to handle it in the past to fix it. So it's just going to be a pattern that continues to resurface again and again and again until they get the freaking wisdom teeth out. Right? So what do we need to do? Set the appointment to get the wisdom teeth removed, aka sign them as a client so that you can help them actually take it all the way through and get their result, because they need you to hold them accountable to doing it. They can't just get off the call and be like, oh yeah, that's going to fix everything, because it didn't. It might have gotten them clarity on the thing that's ultimately been holding them back for 20 years, but it didn't solve the problem. And that's what you, as a person selling your program, needs to understand, that they didn't just solve everything by talking to you. They solve everything by joining your program. Yeah? That's where they make the real lasting change. So how do we do this? Okay. So if we're going and they're starting to feel good, they're like, you know what? I think I'm good. Like, I'm going to focus on implementing what we talked about today. I'm going to do XYZ thing, whatever. It's like, yeah, that's fine. But I want to highlight something. Is it okay if I kind of guide you for a second? We go a little bit deeper on this. Okay. I'm kind of starting to notice a pattern with you. And then kind of highlight what you've just noticed, like the root cause of the problem and the fact that they're masking up the symptoms until it reveals itself again and they feel like shit. Like, you've got to pull them back and show them that. Like, you've got to be like that dentist that shows me my x-ray again and is like, Jamie, do you see how this tooth is completely on its side right now? If you don't handle that, it's going to go into your nerve and it's going to eat away at your bone. And you might have to get part of your bone removed if you keep waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what a dentist would do. You've got to have the doctor frame here. Look at this. See this? You just told me how much pain this was causing you. And yes, I know that the infection might have let up for now, but the underlying infection still exists. Do you see that? And do you see this other one over here? Right? That's half erupted through your gums. Food's able to get back in there and cause infection like you just had. Do you want to keep experiencing that? It's kind of like a toddler. If you guys have any kids here, you understand what I mean. I do this every day with Kylo, literally. He's like, I want to go outside. I want to go on my bike. I'm like, oh, awesome. Okay, let's get your pants on. And then he'll run away from me. And he's like, no, I don't want pants on. I don't want pants on. It's like, but didn't you just tell me you wanted to go outside? Yeah, I want to go outside. I want to ride my bike. Okay, so should we get your pants on then so we can go outside? Yeah, we should. It's like you have to remind them. Well, okay, but didn't you just tell me that you wanted to change that problem so that it doesn't resurface again in 6 more months? Yeah. Okay, great. So then are you ready to do this? Well, no, like I got to think about it. I got to go talk to my husband. Okay. Yeah, but I'm just curious. Do you want my help? Is this something that you really want to change? And you've got to just walk them forward and remind them. You said you wanted this. Do you still want that? Okay, then this is what we need to do. Okay? Just guide them. Don't let them keep feeding the cyclical patterns that are keeping them stuck exactly where they are. So hold that doctor frame, be that dentist, show them their x-ray again, and remind them of the underlying problem that they're there to solve and the fact that they can continue masking it, gargling salt water, putting ointments on, but until they fix the underlying root problem, it's not going to go away. And your coaching program does that. That's what you're going to help walk them through. And you can also say, look, conversations like today might feel good right now. It might feel like we figured it out. It might also feel productive, but it really isn't because we haven't even gotten started on the program yet. So, I mean, if you really want to make a change, that's what we're going to do together. You ready to do this? That's it. So, I hope that helps. Just remember that by addressing their pain points and noticing their patterns, that's ultimately why they're going to want to hire you as a coach. Because if you spend that hour with them and you're able to establish the root cause of what's showing up in their life again and again and again and causing these symptoms, a lot of times all they notice is the symptoms, but they don't know where it came from. And so if on your call, you're able to establish that with them, you don't understand how valuable that is and how that shows the value of you being an excellent coach because you're actually listening and you're figuring out the root cause of the problem. And so that's really how I look at sales in general. It's like, what's the root cause? What do we want? And how are we going to get there? It's really the framework to make it really simple. So fix the root problem, boost your sales. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We don't just go into high ticket sales here, but we do everything from A to Z of how to launch your continuity based coaching program so you can ultimately own your life and own your work. So if that interests you, I hope to see you around on the channel, and I'll catch you in the next episode.